Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, and I want to be clear, right? There's multiple paths to awareness, right? My path, and I'm so grateful for it, was due to psychedelics, right? I did studied Buddhism and meditation and breath work and yoga for years, and I thought I had an idea, but I was still completely disconnected. And it was the psychedelics that gave me this reference point, this understanding outside of what I had previously experienced. That's not for everybody, right? That's why I think I love Ram Dass so much. I could relate more to him than some of the other folks. But what I'm seeing is over the last few years, the people showing up to work with psychedelics has completely changed. And I think folks that are outside of this space have this visualization or this idea of what somebody working in the psychedelic space looks like, and they'd be incorrect, right? Many of the folks that come, it isn't about curiosity, right? It's not about having an experience or even spirituality. It's about exhaustion. And what do I mean by that? Alcoholism, chronic stress, pornography, disconnection in general. And these patterns, they're patterns that they've tried to outthink or outwork or out therapy, but nothing really shifts. And I relate to that deeply, right? And for a lot of people, psychedelics feel like a last resort. And again, that was me. Desperation. I was desperate, right? And that fear again makes sense and it resonates with me. And so to me, what's often misunderstood is why these experiences could be so effective when other approaches haven't worked. So let me explain it in a way that I like to use it. There's an analogy that I really love. So imagine your mind is like a snowy mountain. Okay. Every thought, habit, reaction, and belief you have is like a ski track going down that mountain, right? So to keep that visualization. The more you repeat the pattern, the deeper the tracks get. Over time, those tracks become automatic. You're not choosing them anymore. They just happen, even when you want to change, even when you understand what's happening. I shouldn't be doing this, but I do. I don't want to have this thought, but I am, right? It's because you still end up sliding down the same path, the same tracks. So again, it's not a failure of willpower. That's how the nervous system works. And so psychedelics, when used intentionally and safely, that's important. They're like fresh snowfall. For a brief window, those old tracks dissolve and soften. You yourself are not erased, you are not overwritten, but suddenly there's this space, just space. Okay. Space to experience yourself without the same identity running the show, a space to feel emotions without immediately becoming them, space to sense, oh, I don't have to be who I've been. And that was one of the most powerful ones for me, understanding why I was what I was. And then also this space and realization that I don't have to be who I've been. Okay. And those are what I call fresh tracks. And the psychedelics give folks that space to notice, and experience that. And, this is why identity change becomes possible. Not because the medicine fixes you, not because the psychedelics fix you, but because it gives you a moment outside the familiar loop, right? This moment outside of your familiar loop. Again, fresh powder, right? And so many of you listening already know this because you felt it. Yes, it could be scary. The growth often is, right? Because it's outside of the familiar. And at some point, you still have to get in the ocean and swim, right? So this work matters to me because it changed my life and it's changed my wife's life and it's changed so many of my friends around me's life. And it's because when identity shifts, it doesn't just help one person, it ripples outwards again to partners, to children, to families, to generational patterns that we don't need to keep repeating. And this is why I do this work, right? And why help others learn how to hold it responsibility through the facilitation training that I run, through integration, through grounded support, through therapy. And again, it's not always just with psychedelics. Some folks want to step into the psychedelic space and use that to create the fresh powder, and other folks we can do it without the medicine. So I honor all the paths. And so I just tell folks, if you're curious or feel called to be part of this in a thoughtful, ethical way, reach out. And until then, my advice is just enjoy the moment.